So, this is new. I don't normally do this type of content on my channel. Well, I asked my viewers if they wanted to see me do more BFDI related videos, and everybody said yes. Not to mention, the poll got a ton of votes as well, so sure, I guess. How's it going, everyone? My name is Ryan, aka RTMKR111 here. You can call me either, I really don't care. Today in this video, I'm going to be talking about why TPOT should switch to contestant vote, and I'm also going to be addressing TPOT's biggest problem, and that's they desperately need to fix, and that is to get rid of vote to save, and you know what, go as far as to get rid of viewer voting as a whole and switch to contestant vote, like most object shows do nowadays, and for good reason. Now, that's not to say I hate viewer voting as a whole. I mean, BFDI was the first to introduce it for a reason. But you clicked on this video because you want me to talk about why TPOT needs to switch to contestant vote. And I am doing this because I feel like not enough people in the object show community have addressed this, and I feel like somebody has to. But regardless, thanks for joining me. So, with no more delay, we're gonna get started. We will be going section by section. Timestamps will be linked in the description down below, so if you want to just skip to the end for my actual reasonings, then you can go ahead and do so. So, in case you don't know how this franchise even works to begin with, because you are watching this video having never seen the actual show, in BFDI, viewers are given the freedom to vote for one or multiple contestants. That depends on which season, of course, as it varies. And by voting, viewers can leave an impact on who gets out the following episode. You know, I'm pretty sure 99% of the people watching this video have already watched this show, and I'm certain everyone in the object show community knows how the voting method works this show, so I'm not gonna drag this video by explaining the voting methods of the series, as I'm pretty sure everybody knows, so moving on. Now then, let's talk about TPOT. I'm sure we all have our own issues with TPOT, whether it be due to how slow-paced and boring some of the episodes are, how random TPOT can be at times, like, why is Marco green? Or maybe the writing of some of the TPOT episodes are just lackluster. Perhaps some of the gags or jokes are just not funny whatsoever, or just the challenges are boring and lazy. Those are just some minor issues I have with TPOT, but there's no denying the fact that this is my personal favorite season of the franchise, and for good reason. Not that it's saying much though, because this is also most people's favorite season, but come on, this is obviously the best season in my opinion. Of course, there's going to be people who disagree with me in the comments, which I can tolerate. But TPOT is an incredible season. It focuses so much on character development and the interesting character arcs throughout the season as well, and just having flat out amazing episodes. And they even have a main antagonist of the show, with some really anticipated moments coming in future episodes to keep fans on their toes. Something not even BFDIA has done yet. And this will probably be the most important season of the franchise. Unfortunately, there is one big problem TPOT has and desperately needs to fix. So, if by some 2,763,000,000 chance one of the Jack and Jollify crew members is watching this video, I would take some notes, because if this issue gets fixed, I think this would really improve Teapot as a whole. So, vote to save, am I right? It was a brand new voting method that was introduced in BFB 17. Now, how could I describe this voting method in the nicest way possible? Oh yeah, it sucks. Why? I will go into that right now. Okay, so first things first. Obviously, no disrespect to Jack and Jollify, but this vote to save method is complete, utter garbage and extremely flawed. And this voting method alone has caused so many story limitations for so many characters on the show. And okay, I get it. I get the fact the creators of the show wanted just to change things up with the viewer voting during the BFB post-split, to make things more interesting, of course. But little did everybody knew, this voting method would completely screw less popular characters' chances of winning the show. And this voting method is obviously favored towards fan favorites of the BFDI franchise. And this is still an ongoing issue with TPOT to this day, because most of the rookies who have had so much potential for character development just keep getting out with an unfinished storyline. This is because rookies are just not as popular as the Season 1 veterans, in which to this day, most of them are considered to be iconic and fan favorites, and that is why veterans tend to do very well in a vote to save. And this is just super unbalanced. It's amazing. Wow, really amazing. Just to further prove my point that Season 1 veterans are the most popular characters of the show, let's take a look at Penn from the first season of BFDI. So many people consider him their fan favorites, and I mean so many people, simply because he's iconic. And to be honest, why is Penn so popular again? Like, seriously, why? I do not remember one good thing that Penn did this entire show, and Penn is such a boring and overrated character, in my opinion. Someone, please give me a good reason why Penn is a popular character in the comments, because I don't think there is any reason to like Penn whatsoever, but all opinions are respected nonetheless. And there's also Golf Ball. Yeah, that's its own topic for another day. But to put it simply, vote to save just carries the most popular characters further in the game and possibly makes them win contenders. That was not the case at all with vote to eliminate. So now let's talk about Balloony. When people think of characters who got screwed over by a vote to save, Balloony is pretty much the first character that comes to mind. In pre-split BFB, Balloony, although not having a lot of fans, he didn't have a lot of haters either. He would consistently get low amount of votes. He was even the first safe at one point. Obviously, Balloony had so much potential not only for future episodes, but also for the season as a whole, and could have made it so far in the game. So may I ask, what would you do when you put Balloony in a vote to save with all these fan favorites? Guys, I mean, come on, he's cooked. People say that Cloudy and Balloony being separated is what caused their respective eliminations, but just look at this. This is like Jack and Jollify giving Balloony the middle finger here. Is that what vote to save was designed for? And of course, this makes so many vote to save eliminations so predictable, but not all the time. Remember the vote wars in both PFB post-split and TPOT? Good times. And bad times. But this was another issue of vote to save. This has never happened with vote to eliminate, with the exception of BFDI 22. But at least people didn't know how to use bots and send death threats to other users back then. Jack and Jollify did fix this issue, however, by having us use the Google Forms to vote instead of voting in the comments, so I thought I would just briefly talk about it. So yeah, those are just some issues I have with Vote to Save. You may have noticed I have not talked about screen time at all, but that will be important for the next section I'm going to cover. So I can see you've made it this far. That means you are enjoying my content. If you are new, please consider subscribing to my channel as it would really help out. 88% of my viewers are not subscribed, so if you don't want to miss out on my future BFDI analysis videos, please subscribe to my channel. I even have a brand new object show in the works, so stay tuned for that. One last thing, I would recommend sharing this video to as many friends as possible, as this is one thing about TPOT I don't hear many people talking about. But now, let's get right back with the analysis. Okay, so I talked about Vote to Save and why it sucks. Now, it's time to discuss what you all anticipated, why you all clicked on this video. Why does TPOT need to change to Contestant Vote? The first thing I would like to mention though is, how likely is it to happen? How likely is TPOT going to change to a Contestant Vote and get rid of Vote to Save? Honestly, pretty unlikely, considering Jack and Jarfy likes viewer voting better. But it is possible. I mean, Jack and Jarfy has done Contestant Votes in the first season of BFDI. So it won't be the first time if Jack and Jarfy does decide to do Contestant Votes again. But Contestant Votes have only been done once on the show in the first season of BFDI and has not been used ever since, yet. But one thing we've seen BFDI done is switching from viewer voting to Contestant Vote. Other object shows like Inanimate Insanity have done this, where it basically starts off as a viewer vote and then mid-season it switches to Contestant Vote. And I mean, needless to say, it was the right thing to do. The eliminations were pulled off really well. There is actual dynamic in the eliminations. And Contestant Vote eliminations often have reasons to why characters get out in a certain episode. TPOT, on the other hand, does not have any of that whatsoever. And that's what makes the eliminations in TPOT shitty. Because, let's face it, so many of us have already said it. Screen time. Screen time, in particular, impacts the eliminations in TPOT so much. If Vote to Save stays for the rest of TPOT, there will only be more characters getting out because they are not having enough screen time, which creates more unfair eliminations in TPOT. And this is not viewer satisfaction, by the way. This is just so many fans of really awesome characters getting just angry, including myself. There are characters like Puffball, Gaty, Basketball, and Remote, all absolutely amazing characters who deserve so much better. They had so much potential for character development in TPOT, even having the chance to win the show. And I promise you, if nobody thought of the idea of Vote to Save, those characters would still be competing in the game by now. And you know what? Without Vote to Save, even less popular characters like Eggy, Cake, Foldy, and Pie could have had so much opportunities for character development without story limitations. If Contestant Vote happens, you won't have to worry about your favorite characters getting so little screen time in one episode anymore. Because Contestant Votes give characters a reason to why they get eliminated, which is relevant to the actual storyline. Inanimate Insanity does an incredible job at executing the eliminations with contestant votes. The eliminations are actually intense and mean something to the story, and so much can happen between certain characters in one episode, you never know who's going to get out the following episode. This makes the show as a whole unpredictable who's going to win. And it's not about who is the fan favorite who deserves to win, but who actually deserves it, who played the game the best. Because a fan favorite winning the show, not a win satisfaction whatsoever. The writers of Inanimate Insanity think and decide of who would be the best executed winner of the show, and that is something every object show needs in my opinion. And just to add, there are great winner choices in Inanimate Insanity. And I know Invitational did bring back viewer voting in new style, but Contestant Vote was still the big vote out decider. And the best part is, the writers of Inanimate Insanity got rid of viewer voting mid-season because of a certain dark and light character. Had the show kept viewer voting, these little shits would have won. Contestant vote shows are interesting because one character is gone. This creates interesting conflict between characters because of the elimination, and there is actual strategy in the eliminations instead of just basketball. You are eliminated because you didn't get enough screen time last episode. No! I'm sorry, basketball. I'm sorry. Point being, screen time should not, under any circumstances, impact eliminations in TPOT or as a matter of fact, in any object show. Contestant votes make the eliminations more exciting and interesting in my opinion. Writers of the show can even pull off some clever plot twists in the elimination at a time unexpected, which creates so much better and well executed eliminations. There will also be no more story limitations for characters because they can get no screen time one episode and then they can steal the spotlight next episode while not getting eliminated in the process. There is one problem with contestant votes, however. That is, of course, writers' bias towards certain characters. But, I mean, come on, let's be honest here. This is already another issue with TPOT, even with viewer voting. Remember BFB? When you're making an object show, yes, you want ownership of your show and you want to decide the winner for your show. But you should consider other characters as well, and not just your favorite. You may get controversy at the final episode because you decided your favorite should win. It's called writer's bias, guys! But yeah, I would recommend not going for an obvious winner too. If you are doing a show with viewer voting, and you are worried a fan favorite is going to win, just do what Jack and Jolify did to Ice Cube in BFDI. Won't hurt at all. But overall, switching to contestant vote means no more vote wars, no more screen time impacting eliminations, no more characters being cooked for being in the same team with all the fan favorites, no more contestants being screwed by 3 votes, and no more TV being loved by the community for no fucking reason. One last thing I want to talk about is when would be the right time for TPOT to switch to contestant vote. I think TPOT 16 would be a bit too soon. Maybe when we hit the merge or somewhere around the final 15 would be a decent time to switch to contestant vote in my opinion. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Alright guys, that's going to wrap things up. So tell me in the comments down below, do you think TPOT should switch to contestant vote, or do you think it should stay as a vote to save? Or did this video make you change your minds a little bit? I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. Of course, this goes without saying, but this is just my own personal opinion. Just don't be a dickhead by bashing my opinion in the comments section of this video. We all have our different opinions and each one is tolerated. As you can probably tell, this video took some time to make, just so I can talk about this one turn TPOT should make. So spreading this video out to TPOT fans, even just sharing this video to someone who likes TPOT would help out a lot. And I really hope this is a new path for TPOT later down the line. And that's all I have to say. Thank you guys for tuning in for my first ever TPOT analysis video, and have a good rest of your day. This is our Team KR 111 signing out.